Alright, I'm going to wait a few seconds to allow people to come in. This is just going to be an ultimate study guide, and let me sign in to what I'm supposed to be doing for schoolwork. Alright, let's see here. Let me sign in to my milady. Okay. I'm just allowing a few more minutes here so people can actually hop on. Okay. Hey, Young Buck, how are you doing? Okay, I'll get to the learning lessons in a few seconds here. We're going to be talking about nail forms and nail tips today, and nail anatomy. I'm just logging into my classes right now so I can pull up the information. Well, that's good to hear. Okay. Okay. All right, I'm pulling it up now. Now, what are nail tips? Nail tips are preformed plastic extensions applied to the natural nail to create instant length. Types of tips. We have full well tips, best for weak or damaged nails, and has the deepest contact area. Then we also have half well tips, which are partial wells, and they blend easily and they're great for everyday use or a natural look. Well-less tips are for no blending, and they're perfect for speed sets or art sets. So, that's a little information that's good to know. And the application steps are: you size each tip to fit the sidewall to sidewall. So the tip has to fit from sidewall to sidewall to make sure it's fitting perfectly. Then you file the edges if needed to custom fit. And apply nail adhesion to the well. Press onto the nail at a 45-degree angle, then rock down. Hold for 5 to 10 seconds. And cut to the desired length and blend tip if needed. So, and also today, later on, I'll be going to school and I'll do a live with me actually doing some nail tips. I might do nail forms. I'm trying to figure it out. So now we're moving on to nail forms. So nail forms are used to sculpt enhancements. Gel, acrylic, polygel, without a tip. Types of forms are paper/disposable forms, and they're for single use. They're flexible and easy to shape. The reusable metal or plastic forms are durable and good for practice. The dual forms, which are pre-shaped plastic molds, used mostly for polygel. Now, how to apply these are to prep the nail as usual. You want to clean, dehydrate, and use primer. Then slide form onto the underneath the free edge and make sure it fits snugly. Secure the form tightly around the finger. Check the view from the sides. The form should be aligned straight with the nail plate. Sculpt the product and cure if needed, and then remove the form. So that's how you actually just do the process with forms. Now, there are some pro tips and rhymes to remember that I do have. If the tip don't fit, don't force it, boo. Just file sides and try to make one new. Okay, so that's one. And then this one is for the forms. If the form dips low or leans to the side, the nail will curve, and don't let it slide. So those are little tips that you can use when you're taking the state board test for nails. Now we're going to be comparing the nail tips and the nail forms. So nail tips are good to use because they are quick length and they're uniform in shape. The materials are plastic and the skill level are beginner friendly. So the soak off removal or file, which is pretty easy, and they're most popular for press-ons or salon basics. So that's why nail tips are used, and I do think I like nail tips. So the nail forms, here are the advantages of them. You can sculpt for custom shapes. The material used is paper, plastic, or metal. Now the skill level is advanced sculpting skill, but I feel like if you just study or just, practice doing it, you'll get the hang of it. So when I was in school, I tried a few times. The first time, it is recorded, I did not take it down. I was using my little practice hand and it did look bad. It looked horrible when I was doing it, but when I did it on my real hand, I was actually able to sculpt the nail and I did really good with it. So just keep on trying. It may be advanced, but once you get that skill in, it's a skill that you'll always have. And a lot of people don't do it, so you can always upcharge for it, and it has a really, really natural look. So the method for removing the nail forms is to soak it off. And also, it is popular for sculpted acrylic and gel nails. And those are the nail forms. So you always want to remember to prep your natural nail to avoid lifting. For forms, cut a small smile line for better fit underneath the free edge. Use clear tips for jelly/glass nails, and then forms plus acrylic for a bomb shape control. So there you go for that. Now let's move on to vocabulary for the nail tips and forms. Now, I swear I've said this 1,000 times, but it's good because we need to know this. So a nail tip is a preformed plastic extension applied to the natural nail to add length. My baby is having so much fun listening to Daniel Tiger. I don't know if you can hear her. Full well tip. A tip with a large contact area, best for damaged or flat nails. Then you have the half well tip. And the half well tip has a small eye well that blends easily and creates a natural look. The well-less tips are a tip with no wells and they require no blending. A tip cutter is a tool used to trim the nail tips to the desired length. Blending is to file seamlessly between the tip and the natural nail for a smooth finish. To overlay is to have a product like acrylic or gel applied over the natural nail without adding any length. So adhesive is nail glue used to secure the tip to the natural nail. Sidewalls are the skin and nail folds on the sides of the nail plate. The free edge is the part of the natural nail that extends past the fingertip. And the contact area is the part of the tip that attaches to the natural nail. So now we have some more vocab. So this is forms. So this will be all about forms, and this is the vocabulary for that. Nail forms is a guide placed underneath the natural nail to sculpt enhancements. Sculpting is building a nail enhancement shape using forms and products. A dual form is a reusable plastic mold for creating extensions, especially with polygel. And paper forms are disposable forms that wraps around the finger and under the free edge. What is a smile line cut? It is a cut it is a cut in the form to match the natural free edge. I always mess up on that one and I don't know why. So the C curve is the curve shape seen from the tip of the nail, stronger in shape correctly. So it's supposed to add strength to the nail. Then we have alignment, ensuring the form lines up with the natural nail. Pinching, squeezing the sides of the nail to create a tighter C curve, and this is optional. And then you have sculpted nail, a nail enhancement made with forms instead of tips. So that was the vocabulary for forms. Now we have the enhancement vocabulary. So what is an apex? An apex is the highest point of the nail enhancement for strength and balance. What is lifting? Lifting is when the product separates from the natural nail, causing gaps. What is a rebalance or a fill-in? A maintenance service to reposition the apex and fill in the grow outs. A dehydrator removes oils and moisture from the natural nail. The primers helps the product adhere to the natural nail. Then we have monomer, the liquid used with polymer powder to create acrylic, and polymers, which is the acrylic powder used with the monomer. Inhibition layer is the sticky layer after curing gel. Cleansed after shaping. A cute rhyme to remember forms. So, forms are for sculpt, tips are for speed. Know your vocab and you will succeed. So that was pretty cute. We'll just move on. I remember when I was a little kid and I was in, it was a Christian camp. And it was a cute little camp. But the woman sung this song, and it was so corny to us, you know, because we were little kids, but it was so corny. But it does ring true now. And it was the Little by Little song. Now, little by little, inch by inch, by the yard is tall, by the inch, what a cinch. Okay. I'm not going to sing the whole thing because it's a very cute little corny song. But I do like that song, and it does push me along. So, yeah. So now we're going to go on to the nail structure, disorders, and disease. So right now we're going to be talking about nail structure breakdown. The nail plate. What is the nail plate? The hard keratin surface that you polish on. Wait 1 second. All right. So you have the nail plate, which is the hard keratin surface that you polish on. Then you have the nail bed, which is the skin underneath the nail plate. And this is filled with blood vessels that have a pink glow. The matrix, where the nail grows from and lives under the cuticle. Then you have the cuticle, which is the dead skin sealing the space between the nail plate and the eponychium. The eponychium is the live skin at the base of the nail plate. Don't cut that part. I know that there's a lot of videos, and you kind of are cutting pretty close to that. And I'm such a scaredy cat around the cuticle area, but I have to, you know, get over that to make sure that I'm not having any lifting. But then you have the hyponychium, which is the skin underneath the free edge, and it protects from infection. You have the lunella, the half moon shaped at the base, visible part of the matrix. Free edge, which is the part that hangs past your fingertips, where you give shape and you actually design. The side walls, which is the skin on the sides that frames the nails or frame the nail plate. And then you have the perineum or perineum, which is the soft tissue around or surrounding the nail border and side walls. All right, so if you're still hanging in there, give me a like and a subscribe. And don't forget, I do have more study guides. And I also just have, you know, little cute nails that I post on my shorts that I do daily. And then I do have some videos of me live in school as well. So nail structures, we're going to do the vocabulary on that. Keratin, the protein that makes up the nail plate. Onyx, the technical word for the nail. The nail groove is the slits or tracks on each side of the nail guiding it forward. The ligaments are the connective tissue that anchors the nail bed, and the matrix to bone, and the nail fold are folds of the normal skin surrounding the nail plates. So the matrix grows, the plate shows, lunella glows, and keeps the cuticle safe, and your nail game flows. So there you go for that one. Nail disorders and disease. Safe to work on disorders. Hangnails, which are the split or torn skin near the nail folds, and you can work on them with care. Leukontia, and I know I'm saying that wrong, but it's spelled LeukonYchia, and that's the white spots usually formed from injury, and you can work on those. And then you have Bowes lines, which are horizontal groove from illness or injury. And yes, you can work on those gently. Eggshell nails are thin and flexible nails, very, very thin and flexible. And yes, you can work on them, but you have to be gentle. You have furrows, which are depression and ridges in the nail, and you can work on those as well. I am not going to attempt to say this word at all because I know I'm going to say it wrong. We're just going to spell it as P-T-E-R-Y-G-I-U-M. And this is when the overgrowth of skin is on your nail plate. And you can work on this kind of a nail, but you cannot cut the skin because we're not surgeons. All right. And let's see here, we have onychaping, which are nail biting, and that word is spelled Onychopaggy, because I know I spelled that wrong as well. But the way I like to remember that this is for nail biting is because it does have the word chop inside of it, so it does make it easier for me to readily identify. And then we have onychorhexis, which are brittle nails with ridges, and yes, you can work on them, but moisturizing helps this kind of a nail while you're working. Now these are conditions and diseases to not work on. Onychomycosis is a fungal infection of thick discolored nails, and so we can't work on those. Parenchyma is an infection of the skin around the nails, which is red and pus, and you can't work on that. Onychia is inflammation of the nail matrix, and no, we can't work on that. Tinea pedis is athlete's foot, and no, definitely don't want to work on that either. And onycholysis is the nail separates from the bed. We're not working on that. Onychocryptosis is ingrown nail. And no, we're not going to work on that, but we can refer them to a podiatrist for that. So we'll just refer to a podiatrist in those cases. And then mold and discoloration, usually from trapped moisture. No, we would not work on that either. So a good way to remember that is if it's red, puffy, green, oozes, don't take clients, and nobody loses. All right, I know these are very corny, but these should help you in a way. Okay, now we're going to move on to disorder and disease vocabulary. Disorder. A nail condition caused by injury or imbalance, still safe to work on. So that's that. And then we have disease, a contagious or infected condition not safe to treat. Then we have fungal, caused by fungus and spreads easily. Bacteria is an infection from a broken skin, often causes a pus or swelling like warts and do not treat. Okay, remember boo, always wear gloves when you're unsure. If it looks infected, inflamed, or contagious, refer to a doctor. Document and never diagnose. Just observe and refer. Clean tools before and after each client. Use your sanitation station like a pro. So pop quiz. Can you work on it? A client has white spots on their nails from biting. Can you work on this? Yes or no? Yes, you can work on this. Now, if you see greenish nails that smell weird, can you work on that? No, you wouldn't want to work on that nail. You would want to leave that nail far alone. So hangnails but no bleeding. Yes, that's safe to work on. And a thick yellowish nail fungus. Now you know you don't want to touch that, so that's a no. So that's a pop quiz there that we have. And now we're going to move on to infection control, a study. I'm just going to take a couple sips of my coffee, so bear with me. Okay, so what is infection control? Infection control means preventing the spread of germs, bacteria, virus, and fungus in the salon and spa. It protects you, your clients, and your license and reputation. 3 levels of infection control. Cleaning. Cleaning removes the dirt and debris. You would use soap and water and scrubbing tools to do this. Disinfecting kills most bacteria and viruses, on non-porous only. EPA registered disinfectant is the type of disinfectant that you will use. It has to be EPA registered. Sterilizing kills all forms of microbial life, and this is done with autoclaves for metal tools. Remember, you clean before you disinfect. You disinfect before you reuse. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm going to pour a little bit more coffee. right, important terms to know. So we have pathogens, a harmful microorganism, a bacteria, virus, or fungus. Contamination, when tools or surfaces are exposed to pathogens. Cross-contamination, spreading germs from one surface/client to another. Sanitation, the basic cleaning, the lowest level of infection control. Disinfection, the second level that kills most germs on surfaces/tools. Sterilization, the highest level and kills all germs, including spores. EPA, Environmental Protective Agency, approves disinfectants. The SDS/MSDS is the safety data sheet and explains product hazards and handling. Porous is porous actually just means can absorb liquids, which are fouls and buffers, and so they can't be disinfected. Non-porous are hard surfaces that can be disinfected, which are things like metal, cuticle pushers, and things of that nature. When to throw away. Nail files. Used on only one client, it's porous, so it's only one-time use. A buffer block. Used and cannot be disinfected, so you got to throw that away. One-time use, one client, one time, throw away. Wooden sticks. That's a one-time use and then it gets thrown away. Gloves, single use, single client, and it has to be thrown away. So then we have disinfecting steps for tools. So you want to wash your tools with soap and water, also using a scrub brush. Rinse and dry them completely. Soak in an EPA registered disinfectant for 10 minutes or per your label. Rinse again and dry and store in a covered container. If it's not clean, it's not safe. So now we're going to talk about hand and tool safety. Wash hands before and after every client. This helps to stop germs. Wear your gloves during services. This is extra protection for you and your client. You want to cover up cuts on your hands because this will prevent infection from spreading in general. Don't touch your face or your phone because you're risking cross-contamination when you do that. And then also clean surfaces between clients to keep your area safe and professional. Now, how would you handle a blood spill? Don't panic and be a pro. Stop the service, put on gloves, clean the wound with an antiseptic, bandage the cut, clean and disinfect the area, dispose of anything contaminated in a labeled biohazardous or double bag trash bag. Wash hands. Document the incident if needed. So an easy way to remember this is if there's blood, gloves go on, stay calm, clean up, then carry on. All right. So we have the glam safety checklist. Are your tools disinfected? Are your hands washed? Gloves ready? Dirty items trashed? And clean zones set up. Quick memory trick. CDS. Clean, disinfect, sterilize. Always in that order. CDS. Porous equals trash. If it soaks up, you toss it out. Then you have one that is the 3 S's of safety. Sanitize, sanitize again, and slay safely. I don't know about that one. But yeah, you definitely want to do those things. I'm sorry, just disregard that last one because it's cute and all, but when I'm reading over it again, it's, you know, of course you want to sanitize and sanitize, but sanitize, sterilize, and then slay safely. So maybe I just wrote that down wrong. All right. Now, I must admit, this is all the boring stuff, so we're not going to act like this is the most exciting stuff, but this is stuff that you're going to need to know. Just for you wanting to pursue being a nail tech or taking the state board test, a lot of these questions are going to be coming up, so you want to know exactly, you know, what they are. So we're moving on to airborne disease like tuberculosis, COVID-19, influenza, the spread through respiratory droplets in the air when someone coughs, sneezes, or talks. Good ventilation, mask, and avoiding close contact will protect against these. Types of pathogens include bacteria, which are staph, viruses, examples HIV and hepatitis, fungi, which is ringworm, and parasites, which is lice. These can be transmitted through contact tools and surfaces of the area. So all these are used for, you know, learning practices only or learning only. So keep that in mind when we're going over these topics. All right. So also we have principles of infection, including recognizing how disease are spreading, knowing infection types, local and systematic, and identifying symptoms like swelling, redness, pus, or fever. Principles of prevention, which include sanitation, disinfection, sterilization, hand washing, using gloves, and following universal precautions for every client, whether symptoms are visible or not. Okay, then we also have federal agencies like OSHA, which stands for Occupational Safety and Health Administration. Enforce safety laws including bloodborne pathogens, standards, EPA, which is the Environmental Protection Agency, and registers disinfectants, sorry. So state regulatory agencies issue licenses, they enforce health codes, and can suspend or revoke your license for violations. Laws are written by the government and must be followed. Rules are created by the state board and can be changed more often. Both protect public and health. To protect yourself and client, wear gloves, wash hands between clients, and disinfect all tool surfaces. Safe work practices include labeling disinfectants, using clean towels, storing tools properly, never double dipping, and keeping your station clean. Hand washing, and this is how they're explaining that they want you to do it. You want to use warm water, soap, and scrub for 20 seconds. Rinse and dry with a clean paper towel or a towel. Also, make sure that you're using your nail brush and you're scrubbing and getting underneath those nails and all around while you're cleaning. Make sure you're doing that. Disinfecting. Use an EPA registered disinfectant on non-porous items for 10 plus minutes, following label instructions. Exposure incidents. Stop service, wear gloves, clean the wound, apply a bandage, disinfect all tools and surfaces, dispose of the contaminated items, and document the incidents. All right, so let's move on here. We're going to be moving on to cleaning, disinfecting non-porous items. So clean first. Wash items with soap and warm water. Scrub with a nail brush to remove all visible debris. Rinse thoroughly and dry completely. Then you move on to disinfecting. You immerse in an EPA registered disinfectant. You follow the label instructions for 10 minutes or stated time frame. Remove, rinse if required, dry, and store in clean covered container. Only non-porous items like metal, glass, or hard plastic can be disinfected. This may seem like something that we keep on going over, but it's because it is needed. And it's the study guide for the exposure incident and blood spill. And that's just something that I need to remember because I go back and I listen to these as well. I'll be right back. All right, so we have exposure incident and blood spill. Stop service immediately. Glove up. Clean the injury area with an antiseptic. Cover up the wound with a bandage. Disinfect any contaminated tools or surfaces. Dispose of the contaminated items in a double bagged or labeled biohazardous bag. Wash hands. Apply clean gloves. If resuming the service, log the incident if required by your school or state board. So now we're going to move on to basic chemistry. And I think this is good to know, so I put it in my study guides. So matter is anything that has mass and takes up space. Elements are the simplest form of matter, which are oxygen and hydrogen. And the compounds or compounds, two plus elements chemically combined. So that's what compounds are, like H2O. So two compounds or two elements combined are compounds. Physical change is a change in the form, freezing or melting. Those are physical changes. Chemical changes are changes in substances such as acrylic polymerization or polymerizing. So that's a chemical change. Chemical safety. You want to make sure that you store all chemicals in labeled original containers. Never mix products unless manufacturer allows. Know the SDS, which is the safety data sheets, explains hazards, handling, and first aid. Okay, ventilate the salon to reduce vapor buildup, and also wear gloves, goggles, and masks when needed. We're going to move on to electricity basics. Electricity is the movement of electrons. A conductor allows electricity to flow. So a conductor can be metal or water. An insulator blocks electricities, so that can be used such as plastics or rubber would be a insulator. Voltage, pressure that pushes the current. So that's what voltage is. It's the pressure that actually pushes the current through. And the amp is the strength of the current. So safety tips are: do not overload your outlets. Unplug tools when not in use. Don't use cords with wet hands. Use three-pronged grounded plugs. Inspect your cords often, and no fraying. Only use approved tools labeled for salon use. Okay, so that's very important that you only use approved tools labeled for salon use. Now, like I said, these are study guides for me too. I am going to be listening to this over and over and over again, along with having a little bit more of my notes that I record on here. I listen to my notes because I'm going to be acing my tests. I'm not playing no games. So that's why I do these notes, so that I can go back and listen to them. And this is the easiest way without taking up space on my phone or my devices. All right. Now we're moving on to e-file and shaping study guide. So what is an e-file? An e-file is an electric file, and it's handheld tool used to shape, smooth, and remove product efficiently and safely. It requires proper training to prevent damage to the natural nail. The speed controls are 3,000 to 6,000 RPMs. The natural nail prep, when to use, is for natural nail prep, cuticle area, gentle cleansing. So that's the speed for natural nail prep, 3,000 to 6,000 RPMs. 7,000 to 12,000 RPMs are for refining acrylic and smoothing overlays. Okay, so 7,000 to 12,000 RPMs are for refining acrylic and smoothing overlays. 15,000 to 20,000 RPMs are for debulking acrylic and gel. 15 to 20,000 RPMs are for debulking acrylic and gel. 20,000 plus RPMs, experienced techs only used for fast removal, but only if you're experienced. And I ain't trying to pull that one off. I don't think any of us should if we're just starting. Nail shapes. Okay, wait 1 second. Be right back. All right, so nail shapes and how to file them. So we have the square nail, and how to actually file that is straight side walls and flat free edge. So you use the file or the barrel bit to flatten the tips. Squoval is square sides with rounded corners. So file straight, then curve the corners. Oval is a tapered both side walls inward, then round tip with sanding band gently. We also have almond, which is tapered sides to a soft point, e-file the sides, and refine with the cone bit. And then we have stiletto, which is sharpened into a dramatic point using the safety bit for detail, then hand filing. We also have the coffin ballerina, which is tapered on the sides and the flat tipped. You use your barrel bit to shape the sidewalls evenly. And then we also have rounded, which are softened sides, curved tip with manual file, or grit or fine grit barrel. Okay, so drill bits and uses. So we have the mandrill plus sanding band. This is for buffing, smoothing, prepping the natural nail. Easy to control, available in fine, medium, and coarse. The barrel bit is a flat topped. Surface work, shaping, shortening. It flattens acrylic or gel, coarse for bulk removal. Then we also have a tapered barrel bit, which is for cuticle safety, refining around the edges, great for smoothing edges without cutting. Tapered barrel bits, okay? Then we also have the cone bit, and it's sidewalls You use for the sidewalls, under the nail, and shaping the free edge. It's slim tipped and it fits in tight spots. Then we have the needle bit. Then it goes underneath the nails, precision cuticle cleaning. Um, and then it also gets into the tiny areas without bulk. Safety bit is for the cuticle zone prep. So a rounded top prevents cutting of the skin. So that's why you would use the safety bit for the cuticle. Then you also have the flame bit, which removes cuticle and dry manicures. And the precision cleanup is ideal for e-manicures. Okay, then we have the ball bit for polishing the cuticle area, perfect for Russian manicures and e-manicures. Now, as we know, we're not supposed to be doing Russian manicures. Now, in Russia, it's fine, but in all 50 states, we're not allowed to do it. But the ball bit, they do use it for those Russian manicures and also for e-manicures. So then we have the tornado slash volcano bit. Quick removal of product. And it's powerful and efficient for debulking. Then we have the carbide bit, which is good for the product removal for fast takeoff of acrylic and gel. And carbide bits come in 2x and 3x course, so keep that in mind. Diamond bits are gently filing, smoothing natural nails. It won't snag or catch, and it's great for prepping. Then we have the buffer bit slash polisher bit, and it's for shine and finish of the natural nail. And this is for waterless manicures and for smoothing the cuticle area. Use fine to medium bits near the cuticle, coarse bits for product only, never natural nails. Key terms: RPMs, and that means revolutions per minute, which just means how fast the bit spins. A mandrel, which is the metal bit base that holds the sanding bands. Torque, which is the power behind the spin. High torque, stronger filing. Grain slash grit measures the bits of coarseness. Higher numbers equal smoother. Forward slash reverse. Direction for left or right hand use. Tips for safe e-filing. Never stay in one spot. Keep the bit moving. Do not apply pressure. Let the bit do the work. Always disinfect bits with a bit cleaner and ultrasonic cleaner. Use dust collectors and wear a mask for client and tech safety. Start slow on natural nails. 3K to 6K RPMs max. Practice on a practice hand before working on clients. What is e-filing? E-filing is the use of an electric nail file, aka e-file or drill, to shape, smooth, and remove product from the nails. When used correctly, it's faster and more precise than hand filing. What is a ring of fire and how do you avoid it? A ring of fire is a red and painful groove on the nail, on the natural nail, caused by excessive pressure and high speed, or staying in one place for too long with the e-file. Avoid it. Using light pressure, keeping the bit moving at all times. using low RPMs, 3,000 to 6,000 on natural nails, choosing the correct safety bits. And what are the safety rules for e-filing? Never use coarse bits on natural nails. Use bits at the correct angle, flat, not digging into the nail. Start at a low speed and increase only when needed. Always sanitize and disinfect bits after each use. Wear eye protection and a dust mask. Don't use damaged or rusted bits. Don't e-file over broken, thin, and infected nails. What is torque and why does it matter? Torque is the power behind the e-file. High torque and smooth filing without slowing down. Low torque equals bit bogs down, grabs or skips. And you want steady, smooth torque for safety and speed. What types of bits are the best for beginners? Safety bits, because they're rounded at the top to prevent cutting of the skin, perfect for the cuticle area. Fine grit sanding bands, great for prepping the nail plate. And diamond coned and tapered barrel because it helps to smooth without cutting. Stick to fine or medium grit while learning. Which bits are best for product removal? Carbide bits are coarse and extra coarse. They're great for debulking acrylic or hard gel fast. Volcano and tornado bits for fast removals with smooth control. Then we have the large barrel bits to flatten and remove layers evenly. What should you do? What should you avoid doing when with an e-file? Okay, so don't file on wet hands or wet nails. Don't go past the sidewalls or under the epinicium. Don't dig or angle downwards. Don't skip cleaning your bits. Cross-contamination equals infection. What should you do if your e-file causes heat? If your client feels heat, stop and lift the bit off the nail, lower your RPMs, use lighter pressure, and switch to a less aggressive bit. Heat is caused by friction, not speed alone. How do you clean and disinfect drill bits? You want to remove all dust with a nail brush. Soak in bit cleaner or acetone if needed. Use ultrasonic cleaner if available. Rinse dry, then soak in EPA registered disinfectant per label. Air dry and store in sanitized closed container. Never reuse bits without full disinfection. What is the difference between carbide and diamond bits? Carbides are made for heavy removal, especially acrylic, and it comes in 2 times and 3 times coarse. Diamonds are gentler and they use smoothing for prepping and refining and can be used on natural nails. Carbides cut and diamonds grind. So how do you safely e-file around the cuticle? So you use a safety bit, a flame bit, or a ball bit. You keep your bit at a low RPMs of 3,000 to 5,000. Work slowly and gently and don't press into the nail. Use forward or reverse mode depending on your hand direction. but whatever you do, do not touch that epinicium. That epinicium should not be touched. Alright, so what is a sanding band used for? A sanding band is used with replaceable sleeves and on a mandrel bit for surface smoothing, prep on the natural nails with a fine grit only, light shaping and blending, and always use a new sanding band per client. What causes e-filing, lifting, or damage? Over-filing the nail plate, using the wrong bit if it's too coarse, and holding the bit at the wrong angle. Skipping nail prep, which is dehydrator and primer, and also applying too much pressure or heat. This can all cause lifting and damage. Monomer and polymer nail enhancement studies. So what is monomer? Monomer is the liquid portion of acrylic combined with the polymer to create nail enhancements. Polymer is the powder portion of the acrylic system that mixes with the monomer to harden. What's a catalyst? A catalyst is an ingredient in the monomer to speed up the curing, which is the hardening process. An initiator is an ingredient in the polymer that starts the chain reaction, usually benzyl peroxide. Bead ratio. The bead ratio is just the liquid to powder ratio used to create a bead. A dry bead is too much powder and it equals crumbly and it will lift easily. A wet bead is too much liquid, it's runny and it's a weak set. So a medium bead is the perfect ratio and holds shape and not runny. Sculpted nails are enhancements built with a form instead of a tip. An overlay is product applied over the natural nail or tip for strength. A dehydrator removes oils and moisture from the natural nail. A primer increases adhesion between natural nail and the enhancements. And then lifting is when the product separates from the natural nail. And curing is the chemical process of the hardening acrylic. Okay, so Q&A. What is the ideal liquid to powder ratio for acrylic nails? The answer is a medium bead. 1 to 1.5 ratio is ideal. It forms a smooth bead with a satin finish. And what does monomer plus polymer create? A long chain polymer that hardens into an acrylic nail. What happens if you use too much monomer? It creates weak, runny beads that overcure and lift easily. What ingredient triggers the polymer to cure? And it's an initiator, usually benzyl peroxide in the powder. What is the main reason for acrylic lifting? Poor prep, incorrect ratio, or skipping primer? Why do you need a primer? It helps the acrylic bond to the natural nail and reduces lifting. Can you use monomer and polymer from different brands? No, always matching systems. Mixing causes product failure or allergies. So these are cliff notes and quick recaps. Monomer equals liquid, polymer equals powder. Together they form acrylic nails. Use a medium bead ratio for the best results. Apply on a clean, prepped nail. Use primer for stronger adhesion, and curing is a chemical process, not light activated. Avoid skin contact, can cause irritation and allergic reaction. Don't overfoul the natural nail before applying. Lifting equals usually from improper prep or too dry/wet bead. Use odorless systems in ventilated spaces for clients' safety. What does polymer refer to in an acrylic nail? The powder that mixes the monomer to form the enhancements. What is the proper bead ratio? A medium bead. This ensures a satin finish, not too wet or dry. What ingredients in the monomer speeds up the curing? It's the catalyst. What's the most common cause of lifting? Improper prep or skipping primer? Can you mix monomer and polymer from different brands? No, always use matching systems. Let me see here. Alright, so what is the ideal monomer to polymer ratio for acrylic nails? Wet bead? A, wet bead. Ooh. B, dry bead. C, medium bead. D, soaked bead. I'll give us all a few seconds to say it in our heads and out loud if we want to. But we know it's medium bead because we said it 3,000 times today. So what ingredient starts the curing reaction in the acrylic powder? Is it the benzoyl peroxide? Is it the catalyst? Is it the top coat? Or is it the alcohol? Which one is this? Starts the curing reaction. What ingredient? See how they tried to get you? See how I tried to get me? They tried to get me. It's A, benzoyl peroxide. Absolutely. Why is it important to use monomer and polymer from the same brand? A, it's cheaper. B, it smells better. C, prevents reaction failure or allergies. D, it's easier to foul. C, prevents reaction failure and allergies. What should be applied to the nail after dehydration before acrylic? Cuticle oil. A, cuticle oil. B, primer. C, top coat. D, resin. So after dehydrator and before acrylic, which one would it be? I'm going with B, primer. Okay, so what is the most common reason for lifting? A, too much monomer. B, improper prep or skipped primer. C, fouling too long. D, using top coat too early. Improper prep or skipped primer. Seems like I'm almost at the end. Oh, I forgot I had these notes saved for the gel nail enhancements. Um, Gel nails are oligomers based as systems, not monomer slash polymers that cure under UV or LED lights. Gels are used for overlays, tip extensions, sculpting, or even nail art. They're flexible and glossy and low cost. Or I'm sorry, low odor. Key concepts. Oligomers are short chains of monomers. Oh my goodness, what is this? Monomers in gel form. Okay, so let's read that again. Oligomers are short chains of monomers in gel form. Boom. Gels must cure under UV/LED lamps. They harden with light. Gels are applied in layers: base, builder, top coat. Hard gels cannot be soaked off, they must be fouled. Soft gels can be soaked off with acetone. Inhibition layer is a sticky layer after curing and must be wiped. Prep and application steps. Sanitize hands and tools. Push the cuticle back. Remove the shine from the nail plate. Apply a pH bonder or dehydrator. Apply a thin base of gel and cure. Base gel and cure. Add builder gel, sculpt/extend, and cure. Foul and shape, apply top coat and cure. Wipe the inhibition layer if needed. So sometimes there's the gels that have no wipe, so with a no wipe you're not going to have an inhibition layer. But sometimes I notice even if it says no wipe, you still do have that layer that you got to get. So alright, safety tips. Don't touch the skin with gel. Avoid over curing because that will cause brittleness. Replace the UV bulbs regularly and avoid heat spikes during curing by using thin layers. Use proper lamp for the brand/product. UV versus LED. Vocabularies. Oligomers are pre-mixed gel molecules needing curing. Inhibition layer is the sticky film left after curing. Photon initiators. Photon initiators. Or is it photo initiators? I think it's photo initiators. It's the chemical that starts curing when exposed to light. Viscosity is the thickness of a gel. Hard gel is not soakable, but it can be fouled off. Soft gel is you can soak that off with acetone soluble. Builder gel is thick gel used to create structures. Base gel is a thin layer for adhesion. Top coat is the final sealant of the gel layer. UV/LED lamps are devices that cure gel products. What begins the curing process in the gel when exposed to light? Is it A, the resin? Is it B, the photo initiator? Is it C, the catalyst? Or D, the monomer? It is the photo initiator, which was B. Which gel must be fouled off rather than soaked? It's A, soft gel, B, top gel, C, hard gel, D, base gel. C, hard gel. What is the sticky residue left after curing called? A, builder, B, residue layer, C, inhibition layer, D, photo layer. C, inhibition layer. What is the first gel applied in a gel enhancement? A, builder gel, B, top, C, soft, D, base. It would be D, base. Which tool is needed to cure gels? A, acrylic damping dish, B, duster brush, C, UV or LED lamp, D, air dry machine. C, LED. All right. Ooh, I'm getting tired now, y'all. But we gotta keep on pushing, keep on pushing, keep on pushing. I'm gonna take a little break, probably like a 1-minute break, so I can go and heat up this coffee because we got this and then nail art's coming right up next. Which I wanna put this all on one video so I can just listen to all of it and study. So, wait 1 second, be right back. Okay, extra topics that can be on the state board test, which will be gel light types and curing facts. UV light equals 365 nm wavelength and cures slower than LED. LED is 400 to 420 nm faster cure, 30 to 60 seconds versus 2 to 3 minutes. Overcuring or undercuring can lead to allergies, a product breakdown, or service failure. Polymerization curing. Polymerization is the chemical reaction when gel hardens under light. Its exothermic equals releases heat. Watch for heat spikes. Caused by a photoinhibit. I'm sorry if you can hear my baby. She's having fun watching the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Caused by photoinitiators plus UV and gel or UV/LED lamps. PPE is personal protective equipment. State Board loves this. Always wear gloves, goggles, which are optional, and have adequate ventilation. Wipe inhibition layer with 70 to 90% alcohol, not acetone. Safety storage and labeling. Keep gels in dark containers to avoid accidental curing. Never mix brands of base builder or top gels. Store gels away from direct sunlight and heat. Proper disinfectant. You want to foul dust from the gels if considered hazardous debris. Clean area immediately. Use EPA registered disinfectants on reusable tools, which are, the metal spatulas, brushes, things of that nature. And all single use items, buffers, orange wood sticks, discard after the service. Now, service breakdown clues: lifting, bubbles, yellowing, or breakdown, improper prep, or incorrect curing. White spots or pitting, nail plate is damaged from overfouling. Allergic reaction usually caused by uncured gel touching skin. All right, let's see here. I think I may have lost where I was at. No. Wait a few seconds. I have to get back to where I was at. I don't know why my screen just jumped around like that. Okay. Goodness gracious. Sorry. Trying to get back. I don't know. Realistically, I think I'm going to stop it here. I'm going to just restart it. Yep, stop and then restarting. That's all.